I'm joined by Kyle Boggblade. Welcome, Kyle.
How are you?
Raja Suleiman with Orzov.
Max McVitie.
Congratulations, Brian to Mars. Zach Allen.
I wouldn't be here without these guys, though. So.
And the champion of Proto Counter-Attack here, Relax.
Welcome to Making Magic Happen. We are at the beautiful RIW Hobbies and Games store in Livonia, Michigan. I am Zach Allen, joined by my teammate.
I'm Kyle Boggblade.
And today we got some more Paper Modern for everybody. We're going to be playing Temur Reclamation against Kyle's trusty Blue-White Stoneblade list. Before we get into Blue-White, though, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of Temur. Not a ton, but quick one, just to give a refresher on what the deck is actually trying to do. It is a blue control deck, essentially, using a lot of green spells to ramp its mana and draw lands, essentially. We've got 2 Wrenn and 6s to just constantly refill our hands with fetch lands so that our Growth Spirals and our Uros will just constantly be able to put a land in play. I'm going to get a ton of value off of them. Wrenn is also just good against aggro decks. This is not really the matchup for it, but the card's still just so good, it's going to be fine. And then we're abusing the extra lands from Growth Spiral and Uro with Wilderness Reclamation. We're going to untap all those lands repeatedly and cast a bunch of blue spells with them. Uro is going to be a threat that wins the game, but also it's going to ramp us. It just works so well with Wilderness Reclamation. And the other big payoff for Wilderness Reclamation in this deck is Factor Fiction. Factor Fiction just keeps your hand full. It's good to use the rec mana on, and it just fuels the Uro by either filling up the graveyard with the cards you don't take from it, or by finding the Uro and bidding it into the graveyard so I can bring it back next turn. I have a Nexus of Fate, a single copy as the one of like WinCon. It's the thing that stops you from decking if you're like Factor Fiction and Uroing too hard. And at some point I can just take all the turns. It also puts a lot of pressure on Kyle to never really tap out once I have access to Nexus of Fate mana. And then we have the blue spells you kind of come to expect. I've got Cryptic Command is just a really powerful card. Good counterspell. It also works with Mystic Sanctuary, which is another kind of land payoff for the blue spells, but also works with the green land ramp. And then we got the blue spells you kind of just see a lot in Modern now. Remand, Force Negation, Archmage's Charm. You've seen a lot of Archmage's Charm and Force Negation. I think the big spell in this matchup is going to be Remand. Remand is just really good in blue mirrors to just, I bait you with a spell, you cast a spell, I remand my own spell, get a 2-for-1 on you, and then if I'm doing this with Wilderness Reclamation up, I'm never even going to give you a spot to kind of resolve your own things. So that's what this deck is doing. What are you doing here today, Kyle?
Yeah, so today I'm bringing Azoria Stoneblade. So it'll be a blue mirror. Zach's, kind of trying to be proactive with Wilderness Reclamation. But my proactive element is Stoneforge Mystic, as well as the 2 equipment that are pretty stock, Sword of Feast and Famine and Batterskull. I'm pairing that kind of aggression with Teferi, Time Raveler, and Jason Mind Sculptor, 3 Teferi, 2 Jace. These are going to be very good in the matchup. Teferi, I think, is going to be the, kind of linchpin for me. I'm going to try to resolve it through Force Negation.
I was going to say, Teferi feels like the most important card, right? Like the Wilderness Reclamation versus Teferi matchups have always come down to, like, if you have a Teferi in play, you're winning. If I have a Wilderness Reclamation in play, I'm winning, provided you don't have a Teferi in play. But yeah, Teferi feels like the linchpin of the whole matchup.
Yep. Yeah, and it's a good reason to be playing this deck, because it's so good in the blue matchups, and there's a lot of blue matchups out there, so which is why we're going to play this matchup. To complement the Planeswalkers and the Stoneforge package, I also have some card advantage from creatures, which is Snapcaster Mage, Spell Queller, and Shark Typhoon. I'm playing 2 of each. They all have diminishing returns, so I like to draw a mix. I'm actually expecting Spell Queller to be quite good because it can counter Wilderness Reclamation through Force Negation. My removal is not going to shine in this matchup. The Dismember is quite bad, but it's only a 1-of. And Path to Exile, can fight Uro, so there will be spots, but I'll try to use path as effectively as I can. It'll be a little challenging though.
I was gonna say pathing an Uro is tough. Like it probably already drew 2 cards and probably put lands in play. Now you're giving me more mana. That's a tough way to go about it.
It feels really bad. And I think Spell Queller is like, that's why. Like Spell Queller-ing Uro I think is going to be a key interaction. I also have to watch out for Zach's Remand because Snapcaster Mage, you know, when he remands my flashback, it goes away forever, not in my hand. So that's another way where he can get a 2-for-1 off remand. So I'm looking to avoid that. And the counterspell suite, pretty basic here. They're all going to be live. So, you know, I can be a little more aggressive with Planeswalkers where I have Force and Negation for Wilderness Reclamation. So that might come into play here.
Yep. So overall, it feels like dual decks Teferi versus Wilderness Rec. We'll see what actually happens here, but I think that's the key thing to watch in the matchup.
Yeah, it'll just be like standard.
Yeah, basically standard. All right, let's shuffle up and battle. All right, we're going to do a die roll here. Kyle?
Even.
Odd.
Oh, man.
Been pretty bad on die rolls today.
Yeah.
Pick that up, I guess. All right, so my 7 here. Little awkward on colors, but overall, I've got lands and spells. I think this is a clear keep.
I think I'm going to keep this hand. It has a Batter Skull, so it's a functional mulligan, but it's got lands, and I think lands are going to be very important because whoever blinks first will be at a disadvantage, so I'm going to keep.
All right, I'm going to play Field of Ruin and Pass. Or Field of the Dead, apologies.
Play Misty Rainforest. Go ahead.
I'll also play Misty and Pass to you.
I'm going to get an island and cast Opt at the end of the turn.
Yeah, that's fine.
So now I'm good on lands. You know, again, just looking for Stoneforge Mystic. Definitely don't want Path to Exile.
Let's go on the bottom.
Okay, so here, Drew Stoneforge. Now, in Standard, you got to watch out when you tap out, and they can just slam wreck. Since Zach has Field of the Dead, there's no chance of that happening, so I'm going to shock to 18 and cast Stoneforge Mystic.
Sure.
I'm going to get Sword of Feast and Famine. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to get the unsung hero of this deck. Go to 19.
Is it the Triome?
It is the Triome. My mana's a little awkward. Ketria Triome solves all issues.
The Triomes are insane in Modern.
Yeah.
I really like the Fetchland Triome package.
Just like having one of your 3-color combinations is so good. You definitely don't want more than that, but that one is just so nice.
Yeah, it can get a little awkward with Field of the Dead, I noticed, in the 4-color control deck.
Sure.
There were like 3 Ketria Triomes.
That sounds a little awkward. Alright. I'm going to draw for turn. That's an atrocious draw step. I'm going to play a Castle Vantress. Comes into play tap because of my Triome. And Bolt. Stoneforge Mystic. And then pass to you.
I'm just going to play an island past you.
I'm going to draw. I'm going to play a forest and pass back to you.
Flooded Strand, go ahead.
Draw. I'm going to miss my land drop here. That's unfortunate, but I will pass it back.
Ooh, okay. You have how many cards?
6.
6, okay. Yeah, so we're just gonna play this draw go then. I don't want to act. I'm gonna play Flooded Strand. Go ahead.
End of turn, I'm going to cast a Growth Spiral.
Yep, that's fine.
Draw. I'll put a Misty Rainforest into play off of it. And still end of turn, I'm going to fetch, go to 18. Just want to make sure my mana is good. There's definitely an argument for leaving it uncracked, but You are a Path to Exile deck with Field of Ruin, so I would like to get as many non-basics in play as possible. And at some point, you're going to try and burn me out. So, not burn me out, but deal damage to me. And that's your win condition, mostly, is damage. So, preserving the life total could matter a little bit. I think getting a Steam Fence here is pretty acceptable. Alright, draw for turn. Well, that's kind of awkward. I'm not going to miss my land drop, but I only have 2 islands, so Mystic Sentry comes to play tap. I'll pass back to you.
Okay. Draw. So now that could Castle Vantress
So much value.
to hit land drops. So that kind of changes things. Because I don't have Field of Ruin. How many cards do you have in hand?
5.
5. Okay, so I think I want to just interact a little bit to stop Castle Vantress from scrying. So I'm going to because if I wait till next turn, I'll want to do the same thing. So I think this is the turn to push. So I'm going to play Plains, and I'm going to cast Teferi.
I'm going to cast Cryptic Command, and my modes are going to be Counter Draw.
Counter draw. Get green up. So I'm going to go with... I'm going to break these 2. For, I'll take 2 here. So I take 4 total. I got a 14. And I'll force a negation your Cryptic.
I'm going to force back. Question is, what am I pitching? I really don't want to pitch this one because I think it's going to be quite good. Although, how many cards do you have in hand?
I have
5?
5, yes.
I know 1 is a sort of feast and famine.
Yep.
So it's not super likely you are good at interacting with this. You know what? This is so awkward. Alright, I'm just going to pitch a Force of Negation.
Okay. So, my force is exiled. Teferi's in the graveyard, and you draw a card. Go ahead.
Alright. Draw for turn. I drew a Wooded Foothills. That actually gives me a zombie. So Field of the Dead.
This matchup feels terrible.
I'm going to fetch, go to 17. Again, I want to be fetching things that aren't basics. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a Breeding Pool, go to 15. We get another Zombo. And then before I shuffle, I'm going to cast Nexus of Fate.
Alright.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to shuffle the Nexus in while I'm shuffling.
So, no Reclamation yet. You have 2 cards left, is that right?
2 cards left.
Okay.
Alright. I'm going to draw. Attack you for 4.
Yeah, I'm at 10.
Then, still in my main phase. Or second main, I'm going to cast Factor Fiction.
Yep.
These are your options.
Okay. Have you played a land yet?
I have not played a land this turn.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Cryptic Command and everything else.
Alright, I am going to take everything else.
Okay.
Seems very good. Cryptic Command will go to the graveyard. I'm going to play the Misty Rainforest you just saw me take. Get a zombie. I'll pass to you.
Alright, Flooded Strand. And Batter Skull.
I'm going to respond to Batter Skull. I'll fetch, get a zombie.
Yep.
I'm just going to get a Snowflake Island here, go to 14.
Mm-hmm.
I have enough basics left that I'm not super concerned about it. I could protect my life total, but again, not the biggest deal. Then I'm going to cast Gross Spiral.
Snare.
Okay. Batter Skull resolves.
Good.
You have how many cards in hand?
I have 3.
3. This is a tough way to do it, but I think I'm going to bolt that twice.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Draw. Thank you for 8.
So I could get Mystic Sanctuary here, put Opt on top. That might be worth it. If I get, yeah. Yeah, I'll take 8. I'll go 2.
Okay. Second main. I'm gonna play a Scalding Tarn. Zombo.
Yep.
I'm gonna fetch. Go to 13. Get a Mystic Sanctuary and put Lightning Bolt on top.
Okay, that's too many things.
Yep.
Yeah, my hand's pretty bad.
Fair enough. I was gonna Gross Spiral into it and hope it was good enough.
Yeah, I kind of went in on the Teferi there because, I mean, the draw go, like, eventually I'm going to have to fight this or, force this Teferi through.
Yeah, you do need to get under me because I just have a better late game than you with all my Factor Fictions and Nexus of Fates and, I am better equipped at drawing cards and I can do it at instant speed.
Yeah, I have Jace and you have Factor Fiction, so
Exactly.
I'm going to be at a disadvantage for sure.
I think Jace is a better card, but in Blue Mirrors I think Factor Fiction's better. Especially in a Force of Negation world. Jace is good with Force of Negation, but Fact is better against it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Alright, we're back post board. For me, I don't love Uro against Teferi decks. Uro's more for the aggressive matchups. It's a powerful card draw spell, but I don't love it there, so I think I'm fine going from 3 to 2 copies. I'm fine with that. I'll still find one from Factor Fiction, and I know Kyle's boarding out Path, so I've been given this information by looking, but also I would just kind of assume you'd board out Path anyway because you'd rather just be gusting my Uros. So the first copy is pretty safe. It'll just end up being on top of my library a lot instead of in exile. So I think I'm good to go down to 2. You do have Spell Quellers and Stoneforge Mystics, but I still want to be less on my bolts, so I'm going to cut 2 of them and still leave 2 in. And then when I'm trimming Uros, the ops are less important. They're more there to hit land drops and fuel Uro, and it is good to hit land drops, but I still think I'm pretty well set up to do that. I've got Ren in 6, I've got Factor Fiction, I've got Gross Spiral, I have a lot of cantrips. I think I can afford to cut 2. And then I'm going to board in Shark Typhoon because it's good against Teferi. Jace is just a really powerful haymaker. If I can land it, it's going to be really good. Veil of Summer is a nightmare for you in these mirrors. You do have ways around it in Gust and Queller, but there's a lot of times where you won't have one of those cards and Veil of Summer can blow you out. Mystical Dispute, post-board you've cut all your white cards. Almost every card in your deck except Stoneforge Mystic is blue, so it's going to be good. And then I've gotten a Braid because it also kills Queller and Batter Skull and Sword, so I think those are all pretty high impact targets, and yep, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, me, I'm... Zach's deck was actually interesting in that all of his main deck cards were pretty passable. He was just kind of trimming things. Me on the other hand, I just have 4 Path to Exiles and 1 Dismember that I just don't want to draw at all. And I'm replacing them with 3 counter spells and 2 pseudo counter spells and Aether Gust. I want to fight Uro, but like Zach mentioned, I don't want to path it because like game 1 you didn't even play Uro. I just like got valued out.
Yep.
If I path and you've already explored twice with Uro, then I'm probably just dying to like Field of the Dead or something. So it's not even good in its best case. So they're just getting cut. And Dismember like has no targets, so it's obviously going away. Spell Queller. So you actually have like net 1 less way of interacting with Spell Queller, which works out well for me. And it's another way to stop Uro from coming down without having to path it.
Yep. All seems pretty simple. Let's shuffle up in battle.
Yeah. Oh, this is a tough one, or interesting. It's a 1-lander with 2 ops. So my ops basically I just need to spend my first couple turns finding the lands. I think I should mulligan though, because even if I hit my land drops off the ops, I don't have something that's actually. I'm not like building toward anything, so I need to not only draw the lands, but I also need to find something that wins, like a Stoneforge Mystic.
Sure.
So yeah,
Makes sense to me. Expensive cards with 1 land and ops to find lands isn't great.
Yeah.
My hand's really close. I just have 2 of these, so that's awkward, but I play a lot, so I think it's fine to keep. I do have early interaction, and if we hit our land drops, I don't think I can lose, so I'm kind of banking on the fact that I'm on the draw. I got some cantrips. I think I'll be okay, but if I don't hit lands, I'm going to lose. But you can say that about a lot of decks, so let's just hope the library's flowing well.
Okay, so this hand's better. Got 2 things to do, and I'll have 4 lands to play Drago. So yeah, I'm just gonna bottom land number 5.
Okay.
Colonnade, go ahead.
Play a tap Breeding Pool and Pesty.
Field of Ruin, go ahead.
Draw. It's a very interesting draw step. I'm going to play a Wooded Foothills and pass.
Looted Delta, go ahead.
Draw. Scalding Tarn, your turn.
Good. Here I don't want to break the fetches because I prefer to just draw more lands.
Sure. I actually am going to break a fetch because I want to cast a spell. I'm going to correct the Wooded Foothills because non-island fetch lands are significantly worse than island fetch lands in a Mystic Sanctuary deck. But I would still like to get an island, so I'm going to get a Steam Vent. And then I'm going to cast a Growth Spiral.
Growth Spiral. So I have the option of picking a fight here. Huh. Do I want to pick a fight? That's a tough call. This is an interesting one. So, regardless of what happens with the Growth Spiral, Zach can untap and play Factor Fiction or Wilderness Reclamation. That's kind of on my radar right now. Oh man. But I need to like get some pressure. So also repping possible Veil Summer. Or Mystical Dispute. So I'm just gonna go with Spell Center.
It's down.
Go ahead.
I could fetch here. I don't want to. I'd rather draw a land, so I'm going to leave it uncracked. Draw for turn. drew a breeding pool. I'm just gonna play it and shock down to 15 and pass to Kyle.
How many cards do you have?
6.
I will pass to you.
End of turn, I'm gonna go to 14. I already have 3 islands, so getting more islands isn't a huge incentive. And I would like to... you know what? It's better to get an island here. Get a snow-covered island. No, wait. Yeah, snow-covered island's better. So I only have 1 snow-covered and 2 non-snow-covered islands, so for Field of the Dead, if I get a non-snow-covered island, then draw a non-snow-covered island, it's awkward. Whereas if I get snow-covered island, draw a non-snow-covered island, it's still good. And I'm going to cast Fact or Fiction in your end step.
Fact or fiction? I'm going to go with... So Zach's partially insulated with Force of Negation here, so I'm going to just Spell Queller that and not worry about it at all. It's dangerous though, because... Yeah, go ahead. It's a valuable Spell Queller. I hope it doesn't get lightning bolted.
Well, for your purposes, it will not.
Yay.
I am, however, going to cast Ren in 6.
Ren in 6, huh? That's interesting. How many cards do you have in hand?
5.
Seem to be 6. Huh. Yeah, that resolves.
Alright. Ren's
six
going to
very
tick
good
up to
against me.
4. I'm going to get back my Scolding Tarn, play it for turn, pass to you.
Okay, I'm going to start by attacking Ren in 6 for 2.
Ren goes to 2.
Cast Unfortunate Stick.
You played a land? You have not, right?
No land.
Cards in hand?
4.
I'm going to remain Stoneforge Mystic.
I'm going to have to get a little bit aggressive here. I'm going to take 3 down to 17 and Mana Lake the Remand.
Okay.
Stoneforge good?
Yep.
I'm going to get Feast and Famine. Go ahead.
I'm going to fetch on a turn and go to 13. I could draw like a Gross Fowler or Remand, but I would rather just get my Ketria Triome here. I'd like to cut.
Very good. So Zach didn't have Veil of Summer or Mystical Dispute there.
That was a really good draw step.
Oh no. I can't handle any of those. I'm on thin ice here.
So I'm going to plus Ren, re-get back my Scolding Tarn. I'm going to play a Scolding Tarn for turn. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap like this. Cast an Uro.
Uro, huh? You have 1 fetch land there.
Mm-hmm.
How many other cards do you have?
I have 4 cards.
4 others. Okay. Yeah, Uro resolves.
Okay. Triggers on the stack, I'm going to fetch. I get a Mystic Sanctuary and put Remand on top of my deck. So this is going to go away. I'm going to go to 16. I'm going to draw Remand and put my Castle of Antris in play and then pass to you.
can either attack Renin 6 and kill Renin 6 maybe. Which seems important. Do you have any fetch lands that I know of in your hand? From
No,
Renin 6?
both the fetch lands you've seen are in my graveyard.
Okay. So Ren would be the 5th card in the graveyard. If I cast a spell, Zach can remand it, which would be the last one for Uro. Or I can go in on this Feast and Famine. Uro would definitely come down. But Ren and 6 adding the extra card in hand kind of negates Feast and Famine anyway. So I'm going to play a land, and I'm just going to attack Ren and 6 for 3.
Okay. After attacks are declared, I'm going to Cryptic Command bounce the Spell Queller. Draw a card.
Let's draw. Ren and 6 dies, that would be the final one. Unless I'm kind of like considering if there's a force negation, because I could force back and that would keep the final card out of the graveyard. But a single fetch would kind of undo that anyway. Tapping out of that would be like a little rough. I might have to play this a little aggressively. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Spell Queller here to get around a potential force negation.
Yep. Results.
Go ahead.
Ren dies. Draw for turn. I'm gonna cast Wilderness Reclamation.
And how many cards do you have left?
3.
3. So wreck. What does it do for you? So you have a remand left, so you can remand the wreck if I try to counter it. You're basically just scrying for now. I'll let that resolve.
Okay. I'm gonna go to my end step. Float 3 untaps.
Yep.
4 more. Cast Nexus of Fate.
So Nexus, that means the next turn you can rebuy Uro. Or I could.
Well, Nexus doesn't go to my graveyard, so I can't necessarily do
right,
that.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, Nexus resolves.
Alright. Wanted to get that piece of junk out of my hand.
Yeah. It's kind of worse than junk with the Uro.
You're not casting spells I can like interact with well has been really annoying here. I would kill to draw some of the bolts I left in. Maybe I was wrong to take them out.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah. I definitely don't want you to draw a lightning bolt.
Go to my next turn. Draw. It's an interesting draw step. I guess I want to do. No, it doesn't matter this turn. Wilderness Reclamation.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna go to end step.
Yep.
I'll tap 3, untap. I'm gonna scry with Castle of Antris, tapping like that. Scry 2. Top bottom, I'll float 5, go to untap, second one, Castle of Antris again. Alright, go top. It's your turn.
Okay. So, I have 2 cards in hand. One is Remand. Activate the Feast and Famine on the battlefield. gonna suit up the spell queller with cryptic command. Go to attack step.
Yep.
Come in for 6. Trigger.
Puts me to 10.
I'll float a blue.
I pitch the remand.
Okay, so I have a blue floating. Zach has 2 nice ones on top. So I think I'm going to use that blue plus this to field the Castle Mantris.
That's really unfortunate. I really like the card on top.
I'm going to grab an island here. If you don't do anything completely ridiculous, like at least I have a shot to win a game, so that's nice.
It's fair.
If I can get 1 game off you,
Dude, the card on top of my library was really good too. If I find it again, I was like trying to figure out like how do I play around this, like what do I get out of it? I was like, oh, the card on top of my library is insane. That's exactly what I needed. So that field run might have saved you.
yeah, field seems completely unreal.
All right.
Now, so you have 1 card left. You're going to get to Uro. So I think this is like pretty rough here because like I have some interaction, but I could tap lower. I think I'm gonna pull the trigger on. I'm gonna play Jace.
This is your
Second main phase.
second main phase.
Yep.
You've already untapped.
Yep, that's right.
I'm gonna force negation, Jace.
Yep, that's fine. Go ahead.
Draw for turn. Let's start by returning Uro to play.
Yep.
The Titan of Nature's Wrath.
13.
I'm going to exile 3 lands, Ren, and Growth Spiral. So left with Force Negation Remand. I draw a card. You got me for gaining life already.
Yep.
And yeah. I'm just not going to play a land, and I'll pass to you. Oh wait, I'm going to untap a bunch, but then I'll pass.
Okay, so Shark Typhoon would be rough here. Zach has Shark Typhoon, I think I'll probably die. So I don't think I'm going to play her off that. I drew a fetch land. There's nothing that I want to return though for now. But I can animate the Colonnade. If I do that, and I come in for 10 damage, so Zach has to draw another card that's good in a short amount of time. I think I'm gonna go with that. See how it goes. Because I was tapped out. I think Zach might have like bolted already to get back to Factor Fiction. So I'm not really too worried about that. Actually, I got planes here as well. Planes. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the 2-turn clock Zero. So I'm gonna attack you for 10 trigger.
Yep, I go 3. I'm going to discard a Mystic Sanctuary.
Okay. And then second main phase, I'm going to, so I can move over the Feast and Famine. I don't think I want to do that. I don't care if Uro deals me 6. So I'm gonna cast Stoneforge. So I have 1 counter. So I can play around. I can't play around Remand because Zach can just Remand his own counter spell. So I'm gonna cast Stoneforge and go get Batterskull, and then I'll pass to you.
I'm going to draw for turn. Alright, that's kind of interesting. I'm going to start my turn by casting Factor Fiction.
I'm going to counter that.
I will Mystical Dispute.
Ooh, okay. Lost the one of Mystical Dispute. Okay, yeah, that resolves.
All right. Let's hit it. The Blast Zone was the card that was on top earlier that I was like, that's the one I'm looking
yeah.
for.
Yeah, this is really rough here. Well, that's interesting. Well, I guess I got punished for running the Stoneforge out, huh? So these cryptics are really rough too. I don't know. This is like an insane Fact or Fiction.
Yeah, it's like 3 cards I want really badly, and then 2 other cards that are still just good.
Yeah. So if you get the cryptics, yeah, either way I give you 2 things that completely ranch me. Yeah. I don't know. How would you split this? I don't think there's a good way for it.
Looking at the board, I would go Blast Zone versus all 4, I think, which is tough either way. But Blast Zone's just so brutal. It kills your sword and both Quellers, and then I get to bounce your Colonnade, so you just have no pressure at all.
Yeah.
But then if you give me this, like, I have a ton of mana. I can just bounce all your stuff.
Yep.
And that's also horrible for you.
Yeah. Either way, you get 2 of these things, and these get you another Fact or Fiction.
Yeah.
Right now, which it's pretty close to killing me. But yeah, at least you lose your Uro with the Blast Zone. But splitting,
I could see lands versus spells. That would make sense to me.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of spells. That's hard to turn down.
It is.
But the cryptics aren't actually great here. They're just okay. I think I'm going to take the Blast Zone. I think it's just that good. Stuff. I think if you had put the island here, I would have gone with this pile. Just because I can just like Cryptic Bounce. I know your only card in hand is Batterskull, so you just have no way to play around it, really. I'm going to go ahead and play this now, I guess. We'll put a counter on it. Go to combat, attack with Uro, trigger, draw.
Let's go to 11.
Put an island in play. No, wait. I'm going to put the Misty Rainforest in play off Uro. Wait, no, I'm out of Mystic Sanctuary, so it just doesn't even matter. Whatever. I guess I'll in. And then I go to 6, right?
Yes. Yep, that's right.
And then I'm going to fetch down to 5. I will get a tapped Stomping Grounds. Yeah, and then second main. I'll put a counter on this. Go to untaps. Put another counter on it. Float. So this is on 3. Float 6. I guess I'm going to float 4 blue, 1 red, 1 green. Second on tap, I'll blow up the Blast Zone. So I'm going to be leaving a blue, a green, and a red floating. Uro's going to die. I'm going to cast Cryptic Command first to bounce Colonnade and draw a card. And then Fact or Fiction.
Yep. So I have to split the Scalding Tarn in the field. The Abrade and the Fact should probably be split, so yeah, I'll try that.
Okay. I like the Fact, but I think it's safer to take this pile, just so I don't lose this Batterskull. I'm out of Mystic Sanctuaries, so if I put the Braid away, I don't have a good answer to Batterskull. So I'm gonna do that. Now I have 3 mana floating. I think I'm just gonna let that go and then pass to you.
Okay. Not a good draw. So Now, the Abrade won't do a ton here. If I attack you down to 3, Uro puts you up to 6. Then I think the Colonnade's probably my out here. So I'm going to attack you for 2.
I'm gonna cycle a Shark Typhoon for X equals 4.
Okay. I think I'm dead.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I drew another Stoneforge. Not that it really mattered.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was gonna get to bring back Uro and draw a Force Negation, I guess. My hand was not great after that. I had the Abrade and the Remand, but it was just lands. I guess I was gonna be making 2/2s though, so.
Oh yeah, I was just
Gonna be
super
okay.
down. No, the one Mystical Dispute got me.
Yeah, I mean, Veil also would have gotten you there.
Yeah.
So I don't hate your play, but
It probably wasn't necessary. If I thought about it longer, I wouldn't have done it. I'll keep. This hand's good.
I will also keep. My hand's a little slow, but I think it's good enough. So I'm going to keep it.
Alright, Colonnade, go ahead.
I'll play a Scalding Tarn. Yes.
It's like I'm gonna play Stoneforge. Getting a I'm gonna go for Batter Skull. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't love that. I'm going to fetch. Go to 19. I'm going to get the unsung hero of the deck.
It's pretty sung now.
It is pretty sung now, but I still love getting it because it looks sweet. This Ketria Triumph.
It is cool. I have some Japanese Ketria Triumphs that I like a lot.
Yeah, I got talked into buying a collector's booster box thing that was Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like playing with Japanese cards, but I got some of these lands in Japanese, so I might start using them. I got a Japanese Boon of the Wishgiver in foil, which is kind of sweet.
That is cool.
All right. Draw. That's a very, very awkward draw step. All right, I'm going to play a Misty Rainforest and pass.
Good.
I'm going to fetch. This is going to put me... I think I'm about to be under a lot of pressure. I need to just stay at 18, if I'm being honest. I already got my colors pretty good. So I'm just going to get a Snow-Covered Island. I'm going to cast a Growth Spiral. And you're in step.
I'm going to take 3.
Are you quelling me?
No, I'm just gonna Spell Snare that.
Okay,
Just want to get the fetch like when he didn't have Bolt up.
sure. Draw. I'm gonna play Field of the Dead. Pass.
Activate.
Yep.
Batter Skull. Okay. No breed.
No Abrade. I wish. I would kill for an Abrade there.
So this is the turn. So next turn, Zach can do scary stuff. So I don't want to put the shields down. So I'm just going to attack you for 5.
13.
21. Go ahead. So now I have the pressure, so I don't have to go full pressure, so I'm just gonna kind of sit here and wait for Zach to make the next move.
Let's look for a Mountain Pass.
I'm going to attack you with, so Zach's repping Shark Typhoon here. okay if that's all he does this turn. I'll attack for 5.
8.
At 25. I'm going to pass the turn to you.
And the tournament effect or fiction.
Grab Island and go for a Cryptic Command. Counter, return Teferi Triumph to your hand.
This is really sad because, but yeah.
Go ahead.
Where were you last turn? Alright, I'm gonna fetch, go down to 7. Get this island and nope. Get forest. And play Wilderness Wreck.
Force that.
This has been just a beating. Just at every
It's
opportunity.
a fish deck, yeah.
Alright, it's exiled. You go.
So, now this is going to be a weird turn. I think. So I could either put Feast and Famine on the battlefield, or I could just keep attacking. Zach doesn't have a lot of mana. We're still like pretty early in the game. The Cryptic set him back. So like my other option is to play 2 Stoneforge Mystics.
I don't think that's the play. Maybe it is. It's just so aggressive that I'm going to have a hard time getting out from under it.
Yeah, I also have a Snapcaster that I could just... That would be lethal as well. I think it's probably Snap plus Stone. So what I need to play around is... well, no, you don't even have 3 blue.
Could just activate Stoneforge and equip.
I don't have the Feast and Famine yet.
Oh, okay.
I just have a bunch of Stoneforges in my hand.
I was gonna say, if you activate an equip, I'm dead. I have no outs to that.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't even be a discussion. That's what I would do. But I'm definitely going to play a Stoneforge.
Not like that, you're not.
You're right, not like that. Not like this. Not like this. I'm going to get a Feast and Famine. Now, 4. So, like, the Feast and Famine, like, connecting doesn't really matter. I'm just getting Feast and Famine out of my deck. So I think Squire is what takes me home. Yeah, I'm squiring. I'm going to attack you for 5 and play another Stoneforge.
Alright, I'm at 2.
Now you got to beat 2 Stoneforges.
Well, that's awkward. I have a Cryptic Command, and I could tap your squad. But I don't even have close to the mana to cast it.
Yeah, the Teferi Triumph.
The Teferi Triumph really killed me because I had to get this last turn instead of playing one of the 2 Mystic Sanctuaries I natty drew, which I would have been able to play tapped. And then have triple blue this turn. Yeah, and the turn where you Cryptic counter bounced, my hand was Wreck, 3 lands, and Force Negation, so I couldn't even, like... Yeah. I was hoping I needed to just draw something there, and then I drew the Remand the next turn, and... Yeah. And that's why, in between games I said I needed the Bolt back. I brought the Bolt back in, and I wish I would have seen it, so... Maybe I was just supposed to leave it all 4 on the draw. I don't know. Just kind of understand I'm going to beat you going long, so I should just make sure I don't win going short. But I think that's an example of you just adapting to the matchup really well and kind of figuring out a good game plan there to kind of crush me. And you did that. You just turned into a fish deck and just kind of beat me senseless. So good on you. And yeah. Anything you want to add about the matchup?
Yeah, so the I mean, I think the main thing that I wanted to learn about this deck was Do I like Shark Typhoon? Do I like Spell Queller? Do I like Snapcaster Mage? Which numbers? I don't know. It's interesting that I think after playing those, I like the Spell Quellers in the main deck, and I like the Shark Typhoons in the sideboard.
So you know, honestly, Snapcaster looked like the worst of the three to me.
Yeah, I was happy with 2 of that actually.
Okay, I could see that.
I think if I was registering this tournament or this deck for a big tournament tomorrow, I would play 2 Snapcaster, 1 Shark Typhoon, 3 Spell Queller instead of the 2/2/2, but also playing the Shark Typhoon in the sideboard, kind of like how people played Monastery Mentor before Shark Typhoon came out. Like,
Makes sense to
I
me.
think that's the card. I think that's what it is.
Have like a Shark Typhoon main and then more on the board or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Because they seem pretty good. Like, this deck has 24 lands. That's a lot of lands, and there's 4 opt as well.
Yeah, so it plays like more lands than that, yeah.
Yeah, so you get to play the land still game against the other Hallowed Fountain decks.
Sure.
I don't know if I can actually like flash in Shark Typhoon against you though, because then you resolve Factor Fiction.
That's fair.
So that was scary, and that was one of the matchups where I wanted Shark Typhoon, but like Spell Queller, it didn't get bolted, so it was like very powerful. Or you didn't have bolt. I didn't have Queller that game, but like if I did, like it would just like eat something, like
Sure.
the Factor Fiction.
That blast one was brutal though. That was nice.
That was, yeah.
That's what I had the blast one on top when you fielded, and I was like, "Oh my god, that blast one's insane!" And I was like, "Wait, I need to make sure he taps the field because you can blow it up while I'm putting counters on it."
Yep.
So I was like, "Okay, let's figure this out." Then you fielded, and I was like, "Okay, that's bad," but now the field's off the table, so now if I find it again, and then when I saw it, I was like, "Okay, this is it. This is the out I'm playing towards." All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for watching the video. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy the content we're making here, please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video. Every little bit helps us kind of grow and help us keep producing content, so we really appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions about the matchup, any disapprovals on our plays, feel free to leave a comment. We are happy to discuss the plays with you, happy to point out why we made plays, any of that. So I want to say thank you to Kyle for joining us for the series this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep, and thanks everyone for watching. See you next time.